Hello everybody, got to Master 1 with Red Dragon Archfiend in the Mitsurugi release season, also known as Season 46. Have some completely insane and unhinged games to show you guys today. Hope you're looking forward to them. Probably one of the smoothest master climbs I've had in a while. And I actually had an 8-win streak 2 games away from Master 1, where I then got giga high rolled by a Maliss player that had yugioh, Maxx, and a Bystial. And then I lost another game, probably partly due to tilt, before I got on the 4-win streak that is active right now. So let's get into it. Figured we'd just start out with an insanely unhinged game against Ryzeal Mitsurugi. Why is it insanely unhinged? Well, the Maxx just dropped on top of that Fuwalos. So yeah, I guess you can take a guess at why. I should not have used the sweeper when I did there, and in case of like the R2 here, you could use the Fuwalos just as fine as well, if that is what you have, or like a Perulia. Now, I am thinking I want a Supernova Dragon here just to play around the case that they have a yugioh or something. Now, if they also have a Lancia, it's just kind of game over. But hey, we have to play around certain things. And in this case, I'm choosing to play around the yugioh. And we're just going to be set up here with a Crimson Gaia Red Zone with the Supernova Dragon in case of yugioh, right? That's the second Fuwalos, by the way. Now, since we do have this sort of protection from the yugioh to some degree, even if it's not really protection, right, but it's the best we can do here, really, I feel more confident just extending my play, so we're just gonna keep playing. Now, we are not gonna be getting an Abyss to our field, but we are going for Dissipator, Scar Red, and Auxilia, which will be pretty damn good if we can pull it off. And looking at it, well, they're drawing the entire deck, and they aren't really stopping us, but guess what? Auxilia is very good at baiting stuff to be used on her. She almost screams to be used like Imperm or Ash on her, right? And there you go, there's the Ash Blossom stopping her. So we do not get a Blazer Dragon, unfortunately. I could have chosen not to put R3 here so that they have one less card in hand, because they get whatever amount of cards I have on the field plus 6 for the Fuwalos to keep in hand, and everything else gets shuffled back in. So they're going to be down to 13 cards and they draw 1 per turn. They're gonna be searching out an X immediately to bait out the Supernova because they can send Aggregator. Absolutely hate that this is a thing that they can do. I feel like maybe Aggregator should be banned or something, but hey. Yeah, just very strong card, X'd. Now they're gonna go for popping my entire field. Luckily we have, I believe, 2 Soul Resonators in the graveyard, so we can simply just use one of them without too much worry. I don't want them to have Murakumo at all, because I want to use Red Zone to bring back Supernova Dragon after yugioh, but here they're kind of forcing my hand by having the Mitsurugi prayers for it. I don't want to discard the yugioh, that's mainly the thing here, but I also kind of want to be able to use my effects, so it's a bit of a problem. As a result, we just simply gotta waste the Red Zone to make sure that we don't have to discard. And this is probably the best case scenario for us to use yugioh here, even if it means that we are ruining our own board completely. Just don't want Duo Drive to get them to Detonator at that stage. Unfortunately, they have a call, by the way, for the Scar Red, but it's fine. Like, if they destroy anything, like, I'll even put R3 up, then we still get back OG Red Dragon Archfiend unless they have another call by the grave. They set so that they have a total of 5 back rows, which is a bit scary, and I want to kind of get rid of that. And to be honest, what I should do here is maybe do Emblem Oath into something like a Primera Primus first, but I'm kind of misinputting my play a bit here, and I'm like, okay, I'm adding Soul back, and then I played it immediately instead of thinking too much, so we're just going Kui Belt instead. And then, now I'm kind of also forgetting that I'm today locking myself, and I'm like, okay, so it's fine, we just make Auxilia get the field spell, and oh wait, Auxilia's in the graveyard. It's fine, we have more than enough for lethal, so like, I didn't need to focus that also, I just kind of brain farted, but then they have this trap card to stop the battle phase for some reason. I don't know why they would ever play this, but hey, listen, OG Red Dragon Archfiend makes up for all our mistakes, clearing the board for us so Supernova Dragon can return. So now we have a board wipe ×2 and the Red Zone pop, so we are more than fine in terms of disruptions, and they've already gone through a lot of their deck's gas in general. So to be honest, we are fine even with the misplays. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about that because I thought I had game anyway, so I was just all over the place just being like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter, I have game anyways, and then I didn't. Yeah, we're just simply gonna be using the Red Zone pop. I don't want to risk using the Red Supernova Dragon in case they have something else. I want to save it. And also it gets to stay on the field now, so we can just go straight for the game without triggering anything. And to be honest, I don't know why they put that in attack, but we just take the easy out. Otherwise, OG Red Dragon Archfiend clears the board and Supernova Dragon still goes for game. Not a big deal. After that absolutely insane and unhinged game, how about we take another, this time against Mitsurugi Fiendsmith. We're gonna be doing an adapted version of the special summon Crimson Resonator, normal summon Bone Archfiend line. We can do that because we have a spare Resonator call to search the Synchron Resonator that normally we would search here of the Soul Resonator. So normally Bone Archfiend would be in the graveyard, doesn't really matter that we have it in hand here. We can still do the line exactly as we would want. And then Synchron Resonator obviously adds back Soul, so we can discard it with the Bone as we would usually be doing, but obviously the Bone being in the graveyard normally. And at this stage it would be very unfortunate if they drew a Maxx, right? But we're already so hard committed at this stage that we're just gonna keep going. Didn't really respect the Fuwalos, and to be honest with our opening hand there, what are we gonna do? Pass turn, we use Fuwalos, they Ash Blossom, Droll, called by the grave, whatever, and we lose the game, right? So I felt like either way I had to play through it. And now we're obviously gonna be playing on the Fuwalos Maxx, unfortunately. We're just simply gonna make sure that in case they do an Imperm, we are still safe with the Auxilia here and they can't really stop us. And in case they have, I guess, an Ash Blossom or something, we're fine anyways because we have the Wake Up centur-ion in hand. Which does allow us to add Phalanx from deck to hand here. So we have an extra potential disruption, and we just make Scarlet like this, and then we try and send Atri to thin the deck. Don't really care that that was disrupted by the Ash Blossom that they apparently drew when I summoned Scarlet there. And we have an absolutely insane board, and they're going to be shuffling cards back until they have 16, and then they draw 1 for turn. And we're going to be seeing what their Fiendsmith engine can do. Also another Maxx. And there's the Imperm on the Supernova Dragon. We're just going to simply go down a board wipe and a Phalanx so that we can call it back whenever we need to board wipe at a later time. And at this stage I'm kind of too overvaluing the Supernova board wipe, so I'm very hesitant to be using it at all. Just because they got rid of 1 so easily. I am not a fan of them sending something from my field to the graveyard, so we're just gonna be red zone popping the Engraver. And there's Habakiri. Now I should have been reading this card because this card is absolutely nuts. They can tribute 4 cost my Supernova Dragon to special summon it basically. That's all I need to know about that card. I'm not forgetting that now. So just... It's a card that I think only pure Mitsurugi would use. Well, obviously pure with Fiendsmith in this case, but I haven't really seen any other deck use it other than a more pure version of their deck. Probably because it's more of a breaky card that don't really need to be run maybe, but hey, it's insane in this specific matchup. We simply summon the Blazer Dragon, and now unfortunately for us they're gonna be trying to bait out the Supernova Dragon, and I value too much. I should maybe have just used it, but instead we lose the Abyss and the Blazer negates here to keep our Supernova board banished, and then they simply go into an Appaloosa, which is very unfortunate. Something very important here is that they summon this with prayers, and that means that specific card, as you can see here, cannot attack directly. That will come up and be very important. I'm fine letting them pop my board here, but I should actually have used the Soul Resonator instead, because I let them draw the entire deck. Obviously they're gonna have Called by the Grave, right? And now I don't feel safe in removing the Supernova Dragon because I feel like maybe they could lethal me, so I let it stay, and then this card comes up. Luckily we are not dead because they cannot attack directly with that one. Blazer comes back and we are looking more than fine. More than fine. Now that we are rid of the Appaloosa, I feel like just calling back Scarlet in the battle phase. Don't mind discarding a field spell for that. And then we simply can go after his back row now. We want Auxilia back so that it doesn't pop the red zone there. Trap card negate. And at this stage we are looking very fine. They Droll, we don't want to deal with that, so we just Cosmic Blazer Dragon, and then they have another Prayers. And they're gonna be going for the board wipe, but we have Soul Resonator in the graveyard to protect, and also I think we would just win, but here's the thing, they timed out, so we won that way, but I think we would just win the grind game. We're going second against Ryzeal Mitsurugi, and the only thing we really have is an Ibiu. Luckily for us, that's all we're gonna need in this game, as you'll very soon see. So they start doing the entire combo, and Honestly, we just need to stay strong and wait for them to either finish their board or go into a duo drive, whatever comes first. Because at this stage, obviously, I don't know that it's a Ryzeal deck as well. So I would just be like, oh yeah, you can do all your summons, tributing and stuff. And then at the end of the turn, when you've used all your effects, I'll just tribute your entire board and then win the game. That's what I'm thinking anyways. But that's the duo drive, and now I know I need to use Nibiru immediately. They make Murakumo, which honestly, thanks for clearing the board for me. Now I can special summon Crimson Resonator. I'm very happy about that. Oh, and look, Emblem of Oath. So now we don't even need to worry too much. I don't mind letting them have the Crimson Resonator negated there. I can just discard it. It's fine. There's Ash Blossom. Our hand is completely perfect for playing around whatever they have. So I don't mind. I don't mind. We'll simply be very efficient here with our discards to do this way exactly. I just want to make sure the Centurion stuff is set up because we're planning to win without using them. And then in case of any Nibiru, right, we have them as a sort of backup plan. But we won't really be needing them this game unless, of course, we get Nibiru. Go into the Abyss, trigger the Scar Red Field Wipe. Everything in attack. That's also why we put the Primal Being token in attack mode. So we can simply pop it here and then we can go battle phase. But that's a Nibiru. Look, that's why we're playing like this. Perfect, isn't it? I actually forced the battle phase because I saw that their field lit up or something. So I'm like, you know what, I need to force the battle phase. And also I would have done it anyways, right? I had more than enough. And then he sees me go into Centurion stuff and he decides to scoop it up. How about we change things up a bit with an insane grind game against an Orcust deck? They draw and lockbird me immediately, but I'm fine just passing because I kind of don't want to play into that when I have two Fuwalos in hand. And I'm just throwing one out to test the waters, and since they've now committed to the board and this would, like before they could do anything, it would force out the other Fuwalos anyway, so they would put a token, right? I feel fine just putting down both Fuwaloses like that. And luckily for me, they do go into a link. So I get 2 draws, and I'll use the Ghost spell to stop them from getting the field spell, because that could lead to some nasty playing on my turn nonsense, especially if they kept playing for a bit. If you notice, they discarded a Maxx. That likely means that they have another Maxx in hand. Which, honestly, maybe they should have discarded the Maxx, considering this is going to be a grind game. But also, they have the cross out for my Ash Blossom, so I just have to play under Maxx. And here's a bit of an issue, because I'm like, you know what? Yeah, okay, I've given you 2 draws now, but hey, listen. I'm going to clear out your board, then I'm going to make Auxilia, that's going to give you the 4th draw. And then honestly, why don't I just make a Blazar Dragon on my turn that allows me to then make Supernova Dragon on your turn? That seems reasonable. And, well, that's Bone Archfiend. I've already given them so many cards, why don't I set up so that I can have Red Zone, Crimson Gaia for my... Well, Crimson Gaia wouldn't really do anything, but that's a recursion set on, right? And then we have the Red Zone for the Supernova Dragon that I'm currently planning to summon on their turn. Yeah, it kind of spiraled out into them drawing a bit too many cards, didn't it? Maybe I should respect Maxx more, but you know what, I didn't. I didn't. This is probably the most annoying thing that they're running for me, that they're like running an Azamina package just to summon the Illa Sylvia or whatever, because I'm thinking, okay, this doesn't matter, I can just make a Chaos Angel, and then honestly what I should be doing is banishing it. In hindsight, if I could change something in this game, and if I had to take something away from it, also they stopped my brand negate there, it is that I should chain lock the Chaos Angel here to banish the Illa Sylvia, and then I guess the Druidrium could go on this Legacy one, World Legacy, World like Crown, whatever. And then the Illa Sylvia would probably be gone for good or had to tribute itself for negate or whatever, right? But if it did tribute itself, it probably wouldn't change anything, they would just resummon it back. But the main issue is that they get to end the turn on it due to me not forcing it out at all, and then the Blazar's not immune to it because it's not on the field. Chaos Angel can't protect it when it's banished, so unfortunate, even though it activated on the field like that. That's a very important thing. But as you see, now they have the extra negate. Now they can use it on my turn, or they can use it if I do something else, which is very annoying. Luckily this does nothing because Auxilia is unaffected by the activated effect. Unfortunately, he can just send the Crimson Gaia like that. This is fine because it's not like he can yoink my Chaos Angel or Auxilia, right? It's completely fine. He would need something like an Imperm or something crazy that he... I mean, I did let him draw like half his deck, right? He would have to have exactly Imperm to deal with the Chaos Angel, right? Yeah, so I managed to just hit directly the Dimensional Barrier with my Kui Belt, which then completely messes me over in all possible aspects. And then he also gets to yoink my Chaos Angel. So that is incredibly infuriating. And then he has a Call by the Grave for my Bone Archfiend. So now I'm kind of crying about it. Kind of crying a lot about it, to be honest. Can't even make a Dissipator here. Like, it's completely cooked. Completely cooked. So I'm kind of just trying to summon back the Duel, but then he sends it. So that's very unfortunate. We do have a Kui Belt we can summon with Red Zone to kind of stop some battle damage if he tries to go for some lethal stuff. Maybe that will help out. But other than that, it's looking kind of bad here because his whole, like, I don't know, like it's just not looking good, right? The fact that he has like this one card here, this injured, like the hollowed Azamina stuff, just kind of checkmates my Blazer, which is very unfortunate. Like it's really frustrating, as you can hear by how I'm narrating this stuff. Just not good. And then he can bring it back, and guess what? Now we can force out the Blazer and then yoink my Auxilia. Very, very annoying, and then he can set up lethal damage. Yeah, this is not good. Makes an access code talker. Decides to go and pop the Red Zone. Not sure why he would do that. It wasn't really a danger there, and now we can simply make sure that access code talker can't declare an attack, and we're gonna be alive. Blazer returns, and this time he doesn't have a negate, but he can still try and yoink a card, right? So I need to still use the negate to stop his, but then he has the in-graveyard thing where he can send a card from my field to the graveyard still, that I don't really have an answer for if he uses it. But we simply go into a Scarlet here, and then we're looking kind of fine. Now we have a Bystial Dissipator, so if he uses it, we can negate, and then we have an OG Red Dragon Archfiend to checkmate my own Chaos Angel that is on his field. And for extra BM, we're gonna summon the Crimson Dragon right back with the Dissipator. So now we can summon back Auxilia, and then we can summon the Supernova Dragon with the Crimson Dragon, just for a bit of extra BM and doing a whole bunch of damage, as you'll see right here. And I believe this Supernova deserves his animation for what he's about to do. So let's see that. Gonna just complete overkill him with the Supernova Dragon, just like that. I have a very interesting game to show you guys here against Kashtira Stun. They have D-Shifter. Well, I guess we just lose, right? There's nothing we can do. They just D-Shifted. Tough luck, right? That's how it would usually go. However, for once, I have everything. And I'm gonna be using it fully. Now, they also have an infinite impermanence for the Crimson Resonator. Very unfortunate, but hey. We have to go Dissipator instead here then, instead of maybe setting up for an Abyss, but hey, we have the Synchron Resonator, so we don't really care, and now we can do the literal centur-ion plays because we don't need to discard for the field spell, so the D-Shifter doesn't really matter here, and we just simply make Auxilia, which means we have pretty much everything except for the Red Zone and Crimson Guy. We basically full comboed under D-Shifter Imperm, which should be impossible for our deck by all measures, but we found a way. And they didn't draw any of the Kashtira stuff, but I assure you this is a Kashtira deck that runs stun cards as well. And I don't want to risk any of their potential stun, because at this stage I think it's just a stun deck, right? So I do go into the Blazer Dragon. But it is technically also a Kashtira deck. And they scoop it up. There was just a cute, nice little one I wanted to show you guys where I actually had everything to a degree that I could play under a D-Shifter and an Imperm, which is like unheard of for RDA. Let's have a bit of a disaster game here against Ryzeal Mitsurugi. Why is it a disaster? Our hand looks perfect, right? Well, we have a Vision Resonator, so we don't really have a play, and they go immediate into Detonator now that we Droll locked them. So we would have to top deck something. That's not it, game. That's not it. We have to set Vision Resonator and just pray at this stage, which is not where you want to be. Luckily, they just seem to go battle phase immediately. Let me grab that Gaia. They don't seem to have any plays, so that's pretty good for us. And now, provided that they don't have hand traps, which, why would they have 2 cards left in hand and not any hand traps? You tell me. But I mean, I have to go for something, right? So I go and add the Soul Resonator, and there's the Droll. Yeah. We wasted the Imperm on the Detonator, and now we don't really have it. So we're kind of looking bad here. But hey, at least we have a play if we can survive the turn. So we just have to make an Ash Blossom and a Nibiru with Salt Max C last the turn. To be honest, they already used their normal summon. I should never have used the Ash Blossom there. I should have just said it with Resolve. I needed to use it on the Duo Drive. 100% needed to use it on the Duo Drive so that they don't access Ryzeal Cross. But hey, that it is what it is. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe they would go into more detonators. Who knows? But no, of course they would go into Duo Drive so that they can get their Ryzeal Cross. Luckily, I am saved by the fact that I have the Baldrake and the Nibiru, and also they're forcing the Nibiru usage right here by going into the battle phase. Now we go to the Mitsurugi part of the deck, but luckily we are still having Maxx in with like effect, so we're kind of fine. And it doesn't seem like the opponent has anything they can really do to go for lethal damage here, so we are looking good. Just barely surviving. We have all the gas we want. And at this stage we just need to bait out whatever they have so we can use our Soul Resonator safely. They're gonna be tributing it, however, we can just simply Bystial, banish it, and there we go. That should pretty much seal the game. They can only really add follow-up for themselves, and honestly, just summoning Sky-Red Dragon Archfiend into, you know, anything pretty much with what we have kind of finishes the deal here. We have a very similar game to the one we just saw against Ryzeal Mitsurugi, where we don't have a play in hand, but hey, at least we have some hand traps. Unfortunately, I have Cross-Out Designator for the Droll and Lockbird, and as a result, I feel like gotta just risk it right there, and then we can use the Infinite Impermanence on the Duo Drive. They unfortunately have the Mitsurugi Prayer, but hey, look, we got the Ghost Belt, so now we just need to draw any engine, and there you go. That's all we needed. One engine card, we have this card, and we can start popping off and winning the game here. I'm surprised they haven't scooped yet, but honestly, we just keep playing because we can go and, like, we don't need the extra field spell there. We can get a new one anyways, and we can set archery for a draw as well, maybe get some other engine. We did not, but we got a hand trap, which is fine. And then we can use this to kind of leave the game in a very simplified game state where they draw for turn, we have an Ash Blossom to deal with it, and we honestly get a Blazer as well, and then we might even get another draw from archery, and I mean, they're seeing it, so they just decide to give up. We're going second here against Maliss, and honestly, we have a banger hand, all things considered. You might not think Bystials is very effective against Maliss, but you can use it against Decoder, like the Link Decoder here, and you can also use it to kind of disrupt their plays like that. So now, if they kept playing, they would be playing into a Nibiru. I honestly could let that resolve, but also it's just funny to disrupt their plays completely like this. And if they went into, I guess, a Link 2 here, then I can just use the Baldrake to banish and then get rid of another thing with the Druid's Realm. And now we obviously have the same plays. Unfortunately, they're gonna be stopping me from getting the Lobelian going there. That's very, very sad. And they're gonna have an Ash Blossom, so now we can't even get to Primera. But it's fine. We're gonna go into this Pater. And we're going to be banishing the Magnamod, and then we're going to summon another Baldrake, banishing their Magnamod, and then we summon it back. Now we get a Bystial at the end of the turn if they manage to survive, but hey, spoiler, they're completely cooked here. Like, yeah, sure, you bring one back, but we still have another Baldrake that can attack, so there you go. Nice, quick, and easy game. We're going to be going first here into a Ryzeal Mitsurugi deck. The safest play was to add the Crimson Resonator in case of Droll, but also Droll just completely messes us up. At least we can end on an Abyss Dissipator with a Bystial and a Droll and Lockbird, and then we can use the Saonia to get access to Lobelian so we can get regained up, but also it can banish Scarlet, so we can have some sort of, I guess, lingering body on the field, so to speak. Like, if they get rid of my board, I can still have an OD Red Dragon Archfiend, right? That's kind of the play, at least theoretically. So yeah, we have the Regained established now, so we have some sort of recursion going because we deeply lag it without Bone Archfiend and Crimson Gaia access at all. Unfortunately, they have an Infinite Impermanence for the Abyss, and now what are you gonna think they're gonna do about the Droll and Lockbird? Well, obviously they're gonna call by the Graveyard, and we can't Abyss negate it because they had the Imperm, right? So kind of custom hand by my opponent here, to be honest. with the Droll, Imperm, and call by. Now we are in a bit of a situation here where I have to make some choices because they're gonna summon Murakomo. It's like very clearly telegraphed. So if I waited, I wouldn't be able to easily out it. But here I can kind of do a whole chain lock situation, out it, and get my Dissipator back with a potential pop or something online here. So I'm just letting them negate that. I want to keep stand up centur-ion because I need some sort of, you know, engine for my turn in case they out the Dissipator, which they're gonna go for right there. Don't want me to actually be able to negate or destroy something, it seems. But hey, listen, I was fine with that because I had engine, I didn't want to discard it as you saw. And then even better, we draw the sweeper, so now we have literally everything we would ever want. And I mean, they see we have plays and we're just gonna win this turn anyway, so they give up. We lost a coin flip against Maliss here, but we're technically just going first because they bricked. Now, why would they brick? Well, let's just say their entire hand is full of hand traps. As you'll see here, we're gonna get rid of the Maxx, but then they have Lancia. And then when I go for the Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper, they're gonna Ash Blossom it. And at this stage, I don't want to play into a Maxx. Like, I know they're bricking. What are the chances they're gonna open plays? And I can still set up a Chaos Angel play here if I need to, or potentially something else. So honestly, I'm kind of fine. And I see the Chessy Cat and I'm like, oh, damn. Like, what are the chances they have a card? Well, they did. But hey, it looks like they didn't draw into anything extra. And honestly, what I wanted to do here is the Baldrake sacrifices the token to stop a Link play if they win for one. And then I could make a Chaos Angel, but they see I have plays here and they were again breaking. I didn't play into their Maxx and they give up. We're going second against Ryzeal Mitsurugi, and you're gonna quickly see why I've started running 3 Droll and Lockbird. If you didn't already believe in it, you'll understand here because it does so much in this matchup here. Now they are gonna be going for IP Masquerina here, which is very unfortunate for me, but hey, we have the Druid Room, so we can go into battle phase immediately on our turn and then summon it to out the IP Masquerina, and then we can use the graveyard effect to out the Murakomo. Now, I'm in a stage here where I have the Emblem Oath in hand, so I don't feel like I need to make Primero Primus, which honestly would be good to bait out the potential Imperm. I'm thinking it's a negate or something else here, so I'm thinking the Scar Red is safer. But, oh, apparently it's not the negate, so, you know, guess that, like, didn't force it out on the Druid Realm. No, it's an impermanence. Now, the good news of that is that we are not currently Dark Dragon Synchro locked or like Dark Synchro locked. We're just Synchro or Fusion locked from the Sweeper, which means that we can simply add the Phalanx to this card, which then allows us to access Primera to go into a Blazer on this turn, and then we can go into Supernova on that turn, but obviously they surrendered before we get that far. We selected going first here, and it's very important because we're against Gem Knight, and unfortunately for me, he has an Ash Blossom for the Primera here, and I don't have anything in the graveyard to tell. Like, the best we can do is make a Primera Primus and kind of just pass on that with a set Oath. The Oath will obviously set up the Phalanx here so we can bring back Primera Primus to protect our life points if we need to. But it's looking pretty dark right now. Now, a thing I learned from this game is, like this matchup specifically, this exact match here, is that we can use Ghost Spell to stop the Master Diamond, the Dispersion here. I don't know why he didn't add the Triple Tactics talent to his hand there, because he could have seen my hand and got rid of the Ghost Spell. Like, that is very, very questionable behavior for me. Like, did he just assume he could flip it up? Did he not read his own card? I don't know. But that's a massive misplay and he could have won the game. Probably, maybe not. But the fact that I drew a Droll and Lockbird there, yeah, he would probably have won the game there. Instead, he has literally nothing and just have to pass. And we draw a Fuwalos, which honestly is good enough. Now we can set up Auxilla and then get Ash Blossomed. But hey, it's fine. We can set up the Primera into the back row so we can access the field spell. And then because by the time it's our turn again, we'll also have the Tudea, and it should be enough to win the game unless they can do something here. Feather Duster does nothing, and we've essentially just won the game because we can make a Blazer and do 7k damage, and we obviously know that Triple Tactics talent is set face down. They also realize that they don't stand a chance, so they scoop up the game. We're against the Ryzeal deck here, but honestly, I have kind of the perfect hand. I'm using Ash Blossom first in case they want to call by the Graveyard. And then I can Maxx a bit safer, but they didn't have Call by the Grave and they didn't have anything to stop Maxx, so yeah, okay. The problem here is that they have a Droll and Lockbird and they go immediately into Detonator. immediately. Like, our hand cannot play properly into a detonator at all, unless we happen to draw the one-off Imperm that I'm running. What a destiny draw. What a destiny draw. He ends up popping it himself, but hey, listen, we have the perfect hand. Right here, we have Ghost Bell. Stops that. We're going first here into Ryzeal Magistus, and we don't actually have any Resonator engine. We do have the Emblem Oath, and I'm playing in a way that could potentially give me into engine. Unfortunately, they completely Drolled us, so now we don't even get the field spell. To be honest, the safer play would have been to use Emblem Oath to set up the... But they also just have an Imperm. So they have Droll, Lancia, and Imperm. And I thought I was gonna be safe with the Court by the Grave. Crazy, isn't it? No. Yeah, I mean, maybe I could have done a different line, but I don't know. Like, they did seem to just have everything, and now they've already set everything up, and they have duo drive, and I kind of have nothing. Like, what am I supposed to do here? Literally, they are popping completely off. They have a detonator. We don't even have Resonator engine. We just have to make do with centur-ion stuff, and we don't even have the field spell or anything. They get rid of the Auxilia, and now they're gonna try and get rid of the Ryzeal as well. And unfortunately, they're obviously gonna use the cross to negate that. But hey, listen, we can just summon Saronir now to block the 3k attack. He ends up popping his own card so he can bring it back. But it's not even gonna be lethal. Like, that's the other thing, right? He's gonna use Ryzeal plugin, but it's not even lethal damage. Maybe he should have popped his own detonator. Maybe that could have been... Well, I guess it was on the detonator attack. I specifically wanted to make sure of that, right? So I kind of saved myself by saving the Bystial for that. So I'm deliberately baiting out here so that I can try and summon Auxilia to protect the back row, and that kind of forces to double up. But hey, we have Soul Resonator in hand. And also he just scoops by the fact that I added the stand-up centur-ion, but imagine his face if he saw me play like normal summon Soul Resonator there. For last, I've saved a very interesting game from Rated against a Ryzeal Mitsurugi deck. At least I think it's Ryzeal. I couldn't verify it during this match, and in Rated you can't just go and check their deck list. Now, we are on Oops All Hand Traps, which is why it's a very interesting game. And we don't really ever draw direct engine. I'll spoil that much, and we somehow have to win. How does that happen? Is this Archimo loss? Let's see. Now we do have everything we need here. We are gonna get rid. This is also why I think that it's a Ryzeal deck, because it seems like they're only playing one Murakomo. At least they're not going for another one, even though I feel like they maybe somehow could. Like here, they could summon Murakomo again, right? So I would just assume that it's a Ryzeal deck off of that. And I don't know why they didn't go into dual drive there, but if they did, I had the Nibiru ready. But yeah, it's like that. Maybe they wanted to extend a bit further and then go into it, but I'm just going to Nibiru them there, and then I can simply Duel that. They do get to add a card, but I don't really care. We kind of just wiped out the entire field. And now we can add a Lubellion to our hand. Now we do know that they at least have the prayers, so we need to at least bait out some sort of plays here, and we're gonna be doing just that. So they, of course, go into the prayers, add some follow-up as well. A lot of follow-up even, you could say. They do have the trap. Listen, I don't want them to resummon, but they do want to resummon, so they're using the Domino's Impulse. And honestly, that just means so now we have a discard for our centur-ion stuff, and they scooped. Like, we would have made a Blazer or Supernova Dragon easy, but they scooped. Decklist time. Let's just go over the cards real quick. We have Droll and Lockbird ×3. We have a Synchron Resonator. We have a Chain Resonator, which with this specific list you might want to replace for a second Imperm. And we have 2 Maxx. We have a Crimson Resonator. We have 2 Vision Resonators. We have 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We have 2 Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion. We have 2 Soul Resonators. We have an Obsessive Allure Loop. We have 3 Bone Archfiends. We have a Centur-ion Primera, a Centur-ion Torea, a Centur-ion Archery, which you might want to consider replacing with either the 3rd Imperm or a 3rd Ghost Spell. Then we have 3 Fuwalos, we have 3 Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper, we have Bystial Magnamod, we have 2 Bystial Saronir, we have 3 Bystial Duel, we have 2 Bystial Baldrakes. Yeah, we've really upped the Bystial package this time around. We have a Bystial Lobelian, we have a Nibiru, we have a Foolish Burial, we have 3 Resonator Call, we have 3 stand-up Centurion, we have a Branded Regain, we have 2 Crimson Gaia, we have 2 Called by the Grave, we have a Cross-Out Designator, we have 3 Emblem of Oath, we have a Wake Up Centurion, and then a singular Infinite Impermanence. Centurion Phalanx, a Red Zone. As for the extra deck, we have 2 Red Rising Dragons, a Kui Belt, 2 Red Dragon Archfiend, the normal one. Then we have a Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend, then we have a Scar Red Dragon Archfiend, then we have a Centurion Premier Primus, we have a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, we have Dissipator, we have Chaos Angel, we have Cosmic Blazar Dragon, we have Red Supernova Dragon, we have Crimson Dragon, and lastly we have Auxilla. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you again next time.